Hello, I'm Mrs. Martin. Last lesson we were looking at equal groups and we were looking at how many groups we had and how many objects were in each group. I set you a little challenge at the end of last lesson with 6 objects and 12 objects, and I asked you to see if you could find different ways of arranging them into equal groups. Let's have a look at how you got on. So we started with our 6 object, didn't we? And we used 6 of the same objects, but they didn't have to be identical because we know that they could be different sizes and different colours from our previous lessons. How did you arrange them into equal groups? Now there were a couple of ways that you might have done this, so let's look at the first way you might have done it. You might have arranged your cubes or your bricks or your pieces of pasta into 2 equal groups. There are 2 equal groups of cubes, and how many cubes are in each group? There are 3 cubes in each group, fantastic. And then if we count our groups, we have got 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3. So there are 2 groups of 3, fantastic. So you might have arranged your 6 objects in this way, or you might have done it in a different way. Let's look at the next way. You might have arranged your 6 objects like this. So this time, instead of there being 2 equal groups, there are, how many equal groups are there? Fantastic, there are 3 equal groups of cubes. And how many cubes are in each group? That's right, there are 2 cubes in each group. And so then let's count our groups. 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2. Fantastic, there are 3 groups of 2. Once you've done it with 6 objects, I asked you to do it with 12. Now you might have drawn these, or you might have used some of the same objects again. It didn't matter which one you preferred to do, so long as you had the same type of object. Let's have a look at what I used. For the 12 objects, I used my potato stamper, and then I put them into groups. Now this was a little bit trickier because I had to make sure that all my groups were equal. So this was how I arranged my stars into equal groups last time. How many equal groups of stars are there? There are 4 equal groups of stars. Fantastic. How many stars are in each group? That's right, there are 3 stars in each group. And then let's count our groups together. There are 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3. There are 4 groups of 3. You might have circled your picture in different ways, or you might have arranged your objects in different ways. Did you do it in any of these ways? Let's look at the first picture, the top one. How many equal groups can you see? I can see 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2, 5 groups of 2, 6 groups of 2. I can see 6 groups of 2. Let's look at the bottom one. How many equal groups can you see? 1 group of 6, 2 groups of 6. There are 2 groups of 6. It was hard to this time, wasn't it, to try and make sure that we circled equally. Did anybody circle 5 stars to start with? If you did, you might have realised that you couldn't make equal groups. It's a little bit tricky when we have to draw around the groups. You might have arranged your objects or circled your pictures in a different way. Did any of you do it this way? Let's look at the top picture. How many equal groups can we see? 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3. I can see 4 groups of 3. Let's look at the bottom one then. How many groups can we see here? 1 group of 4, 2 groups of 4, 3 groups of 4. I can see 3 groups of 4. Well done for all your work on the practice activity last lesson. In today's lesson, we're going to carry on looking at our equal groups, and we're going to look carefully at which number represents how many objects are in a group and which number represents how many groups we have. Look at the picture on the screen. What can you see? That's right, there's a little rowing boat with some children inside it. Now this picture is a little bit different to the pictures we looked at last lesson because I don't need to draw around a circle this time or move them onto a plate to group them. The children are already grouped because they are sat all in one boat. That makes it easier for us to count. One boat is one group. So how many groups can you see? That's right, there is one group because there's one boat. How many children can you see in the boat? That's right, there are 3 in the group. Can you say that with me? There are 3 in the group. Fantastic. So if I count my groups, there is one group of 3. Fantastic. Oh, hang on a minute. I think these children are going to be joined by more children in the boats. Let's take a look. Now there are 2 boats with children, and I can still see that the groups are equal. Can you help fill in the missing words in my sentences? Press pause on the video and have a little go. Did you work it out? Could you see what the missing words are? How many equal groups are there? There are, that's right, 2 equal groups of children, because we'd already decided, haven't we, that one boat is one group, and now we can see that there are 2 boats. So there are 2 equal groups of children. And how many children are in each group? That's right, there are 3 in each group. Fantastic. And then if we count our groups, we've got one group of 3, 2 groups of 3. So there are 2 groups of 3. Fantastic. Some more boats have arrived now. Can you help me see how many equal groups there are now? I've got some sentences again, but they're still missing the numbers in them. Can you help fill in the blanks for me, please? Press pause on the video. Are you ready to help me? Excellent, thank you. How many equal groups are there? Brilliant, there are 4 equal groups of children. We can see that because we can see the 4 boats, and we know that one boat is one group. And remember, we didn't need to circle them because the children are sat inside the boat, so we can see that one boat is one group. And how many are in each group? That's right, there are 3 in each group. Fantastic, we can see 3 children are sat in each of the groups. Can you count the groups with me then? 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3. Fantastic, so there are 4 groups of 3. Brilliant, thank you for helping me. More boats and more children have joined us now, and we've got a challenge question. Do you think you can help me? Fantastic. So the challenge question says, which sentence correctly describes the picture? The first sentence says there are 6 equal groups. And the second sentence says there are 3 equal groups. So which of those sentences do we think correctly describes the picture? There are 6 equal groups, or there are 3 equal groups? It's a bit tricky, this one. You press pause on the video and have a little think, and you can come back and help me. Have you worked it out? Do you think you can help me? Thank you. So do you remember when we said that we would call a boat a group? That's really going to help us now. So let's count the groups that we can see. So I can see 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, 6 groups. How many groups can we see? 6 equal groups. Amazing. Let's say that sentence together. There are 6 equal groups. Oh, well done. It's not there are 3 equal groups, is it? There are 6 equal groups. Fantastic. We've gone away from the river now and we've moved to the fairground. Can you see all the bumper cars? Have you ever been on a bumper car? They're great fun, aren't they? So again, I don't need to circle the children. It's just like the boats because they're all in one bumper car. So one bumper car is one group. Now we've got a true or false question, and true or false questions can be a little bit tricky. Are you up for the challenge? I thought you would be. So the sentence says there are 2 groups of 6, and we need to decide, is that true or is it false? In our last example with the boats, we only needed to count how many equal groups we had, but this time we need to think about how many children are in each group too. It's a little bit trickier, isn't it? Press pause on the video and have a think. Is that sentence true or false? There are 2 groups of 6, true or false? Press pause now. Have you worked it out? Amazing. Can you help me? Super. Let's count our groups to see if we can work it out. So we've got 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2, 5 groups of 2, 6 groups of 2. So we have 6 groups of 2. But the sentence says there are two groups of 6. Is that true then, or is it false? That's right, it must be false, mustn't it? Because we didn't find 2 groups of 6, we found 6 groups of 2. We have 6 equal groups and there are 2 children in each group. Brilliant, well done. So we know that the correct sentence must be there are 6 groups of 2. Can you say that sentence with me? There are 6 groups of 2. Well done. Now we have 2 images to choose from to match to the sentence. Set A shows some dogs in groups and set B shows some stars in groups. And the sentence says there are 3 groups of 5. Does set A or set B show that there are 3 groups of 5? What do you think? So we can work this one out together by thinking about the number of equal groups and the numbers inside each group. So the sentence says there are 3 groups of 5. Which set shows 3 groups of 5? Which one has 3 groups of 5? Pause the video and think. What did you decide? Excellent. Set B shows that there are 3 groups of 5, doesn't it? We've got 5 stars in each group and there are 3 groups. Well done. Whereas set A, how many groups were there in set A? That's right, there were 5 groups in set A, and how many dogs are in each group? 3. Excellent. So there were 5 groups of 3 in set A. So that didn't match our sentence, did it? Well done. For today's first practice activity, I would like you to try and finish off the sentences by looking at the nests. You've had lots and lots of practice at this during this lesson, so I know you're going to do really well with it. As an extra challenge, if you're up for a little bit of an art activity, I would like you to do a little bit of drawing. I have started to draw some equal groups of ice creams, but I haven't finished it, and I wondered, can you help finish my drawing for me, please? So I want to have 4 groups of 3. Do you think you can finish my drawing? And if you have done my 4 groups of 3, I wonder, how might 3 groups of 4 look different? Could you try to draw me some more ice cream cones to show me 3 groups of 4? Well done for all your hard work in today's lesson. You've done an amazing job counting our equal groups and counting how many objects were in each group. You've done a really great job. Thank you. Bring your ice cream cone pictures and your sentences from the nest to the next lesson, and Mrs. Evans will go through them with you then. Bye.